All right, with part of the country under lockdown again, which is very, very sad to hear. We're thinking of everyone who's tuning in, who lives in Melbourne, who cannot go out and do what we've all been enjoying for the last few weeks. Well, one of the things that you might be wanting to do with your home, regardless of lockdown or not, is smart lights. The smart light is cheaper than ever, smarter than ever. And I thought today with our chat with Geoff Quattromani, tech expert, we have a chat about what the latest in smart lights is. Welcome to the show, Geoff Quattromani.
G'day, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Now, good to have a chat. The pricing of smart lights has come down a lot. Where are we at the moment in terms of what you'd be prepared or expected to pay?
Look, this is one of the greatest things. I think initially when smart lights became available, it was more of a gimmick because the actual cost of putting in a smart light in was far greater than the cost of a non-smart light. And when it comes down to whether I flick that switch on the wall or whether I talk to a smart speaker to turn it on, the actual cost gap was too big. What we're now seeing, though, from a number of brands, including the bigger brands like Philips Hue, are really reducing in price. But new brands have come onto the market like Connect Smart Home, and we're seeing where you can get a LED globe that would fit into a light, into a lamp, or even into the ceiling for $10. And when you start to consider that once a light dies in the house, or if you just want to do something for fun and replace the lamp globe, $10, it's a pretty amazing way to get into smart lighting without, forking out too much money.
Once upon a time, you chose a standard looking smart light bulb, and you really chose between bayonet or the what's the other one, the twist
Screw in.
version,
Yeah.
screw in of the bracket. Now you've got all these different features, strips and inbuilt into the ceiling, and all these different options of regular light as well, allowing a much wider range of designs that you can include in your home, right?
And this is one of the greatest things about LED lighting is that it allows you to start to think differently about where you place lights and also how you interact with them as well. Because to your point, strip lighting is something that I use in the home, and I love it for just illuminating areas of the kitchen or even just underneath lounges. You can really bring light into areas where you probably never thought about doing it before. It doesn't always have to come from the ceiling. And then the other factor, now that everything is smart, is how you can enable lighting in the home. And for me, that comes down to I'm on my way home from work and I want to actually come home to the lights on, so I can be talking in my car and turn on the bedside lampshade, turn on the kitchen lights, and that just means that when I do arrive home, it's not a dark house anymore. So you start to think about how you use lighting, especially when it comes to colors. There's so many different things you can be doing when it comes to smart lights now.
You and your wife have had your first child. He's a very young little chap. I would imagine that there's occasions where you'd be walking through that front door with him asleep. Have you tried you maybe even using the voice instruction to bring the lights on, but only at 30-40%, not to wake the little guy up?
That's exactly what does happen. And it could be even just walking into the house with your hands full of, shopping bags or something like that. Walking into the home and being able to just call out to Google or Alexa to, control your lights, huge benefit. And again, to your point around having it dimmed, a lot of people don't know that we're not just talking about turning your lights on and off here. This is actually controlling brightness or even the color that you're having the lights display too. So you can walk into the home, talk about just displaying at 10% brightness. So you still get a bit of lights for you to be able to see, but not bright enough that your kids are about to wake up, especially if they're, sleeping in your arms, as you said. So huge benefits. The other thing I'll actually mention too around being able to control those lights like that is when you're on holidays. We used to set timers up. You used to have these little boxes you put into the wall where your lamps would actually activate on a timer. You do that with smart lights now just straight through the app. So if you're going away for the weekend, your lights can come on, off, change colors, do whatever you'd like while you're away. So it actually looks like the house is still being lived in. And all you've done is press some buttons on the app.
We spoke to the creator of LIFX, one of the founders, and he was talking about how the biggest challenge they had was making the chip that connected to the Wi-Fi being able to operate at 120 degrees. Because, I mean, when would a chip ever be designed, by any of the chip makers to actually operate under those conditions? That was the biggest thing, right? But now, today, obviously they've sorted that out. The bit I want to know about is if I've got a smart light system, do I have to have all the same brand? Can I have a bit of Philips Hue and a bit of LIFX, a bit of Smart Connect? I mean, do they all get friendly with each other, or do they all have to live on their own in your home?
Look, it's a good question to ask. I have almost every brand under the sun at somewhere in this house. What I find is if I'm using voice, then it doesn't really matter what brand I've got connected. If I want to turn on the bedside lamp, that's a command I'm doing through Google or Alexa to do that. When it comes to controlling on your phone, however, unless it supports Apple HomeKit, which they don't all do, then you are going into individual apps to control those lights. So that would only be okay if you've got particular brands dedicated to a room, where if I walk into the lounge room, well, I'm going into one app to control the lounge room lights. But when you are using voice, the best bit is they're all usually supportive of the Google Assistant or Alexa. And that means you can just use your voice to control, Philips Hue, LIFX, or Connect Smart Home without a problem. So for me, I don't notice the brands when I walk into, say, this room. I just use my command and that little lamp behind me will turn on.
Brilliant. Smarter than ever, cheaper than ever, more convenient than ever as well. Have a look at them. Smart lights, a definite benefit for your home, and making your home more comfortable. Geoff Quattromani, thanks for your time once again. We'll chat to you again next week.
Thanks, Charlie.